right, so how do I maintain innovation while managing daily operations? This one is ironic because I talked about this earlier, and it's hard to wear two hats at the same time with respect to creating, which is innovating, and then managing, which is managing, exactly what it's called. And I think of it like the slinky effect, right? You're gonna create, but then you gotta manage. Create, manage. And it's hard to be in the creative mindset while also managing, because they're two totally different sides of the brain, and also two totally different tasks. There's days that I set aside where today is just a creative day. I'm not managing anything. Maybe a fraction of something comes up or a small task and I gotta advise on something. Other than that, I try to maintain a balance of here's my managing days, here's my creative days, because you're gonna have both. Even if you have managers in there, you still have to manage the business and certain things with the business that a manager wouldn't do. So we're gonna talk about essentially how entrepreneurs like you can create and be forward thinkers. And we talk about forward thinkers in Founders Field Day, which is a free newsletter for founders, business owners, and entrepreneurs like yourself. Because even as daily operational demands increase with business growth, you're gonna still have to innovate. And you need to find this balance. Otherwise, you're gonna get focused on one thing and the other is going to suffer. So operations keep the business alive. Innovation keeps it evolving. Operations is managing. Operations is what's going on in the business to keep this machine running, right? Innovation keeps it evolving. You want to pour gas on this engine, but you need the gas to keep going. You can't be pouring gas and maintaining the engine velocity at the same time. Again, two totally different sets of skills and sets of mindset that you have to work with. So understanding this and saying, wait, I can't get stuck only running the business, because then I'm not building tomorrow's business. You have to innovate for tomorrow while managing today. It's an important balance. And how do you balance both of them? Well, schedule. Dedicated innovation time, weekly or monthly. Like I said, I have innovation days where I'm just doing innovation. Now, the good thing for me is I make my life around all my businesses where they're managed, and I work with them so that nothing is very critical of my time immediately, because the one pet peeve I have is somebody messing with my time. Like I told you that you should be more respectful of your time than anybody else, because you can't get it back and no amount of money pays you back on that. But I say this because there's gonna be days that you are in the creative mindset and days that you're not. Well, what if those overlap? And what if it's supposed to be a scheduled creative mindset day, but you're just not in the creative mindset? You're actually in the managing mindset and you're not creative at all, or vice versa. You want to be able to have some flexibility. So if you can prepare for this, this will help you in the future. So schedule these days out, schedule creativity and schedule management, innovation and creative, management and operations. Now, involve your team. Evolve your team and involve the team, both of these, because evolve your team to handle the management and the operations, but you need to involve your team, create innovation meetings, or ultimately brainstorming sessions, right? Maybe you don't know what you don't know, and until you start talking about it with other people, then it starts triggering things. Record them, record the meetings, record the calls, whatever it may be. Schedule some time aside. Have this with your team where you talk about the business, talk about being innovative, and talk about the new opportunities that could come up, that will come up, and better ways to better the business, because this will take you down some certain tangents. And that way it's not a structured meeting just on the principle of we have to get to a conclusion of this. This is just a innovation meeting. We could talk about anything as long as we keep on topic of the business. And then these are different ways of creative growth, strategy, maybe new opportunities, new products, feedbacks, things like that. Whatever the case may be, feedback could fall in the operations depending on how you look at it, but using feedback to promote better growth and other opportunities is what I'm talking about there. So involve your team, and then of course, you want to keep running future ideas document. So you want to log this stuff, you want to put it somewhere, right? You don't want to park the ideas somewhere that you're going to forget about them or not document them at all. Park them where you can get them ready and you can access them at a moment's notice. And this is a live document. It'll be updated that you can go back and you can take a look at later and see what you talked about, how you talked about it, what your thoughts were at that time, and probably date it as well. That would be a good idea. Maybe even put it in its own tab in Google Docs, right? Now, what else could you do here? You could focus on customer-driven innovation. Remember, they say the customer is always right and you should focus on the customer. Well, you should, because without a customer, you're not gonna have a business and you're not gonna have revenue and you're not gonna have profit, right? So revenue and profit are dependent on the operations, having a business in general, that's dependent on the customer wanting what you have to offer them. So make sure that you focus on this and focus on customer-driven innovation, solving unmet needs. Review the past, review the different feedback that you've got, review your processes. Could you get better at the time? Could your order processing be faster? Could you work with vendors faster? Could you do a little bit more stock of something so that your buffer is your ordering and it's not one by one or X amount and you have to wait on somebody else? Because it doesn't matter, if you wait on somebody else, you're the one that looks bad. So also, what else can we look at? Small, constant improvements beat waiting for a one big idea. So smaller improvements are going to help the business along better than you would ever know, right? And you're not gonna think about that because we all wanna see big change. And we're thinking, oh, I'm gonna do something massive and it's gonna completely shift the business and then we're gonna be good. No, smaller things added up over time make big shifts and actually move mountains. So use customer feedback, look at competitors, get emerging trends and innovation triggers. Think about this, use these in your brainstorming sessions, and also guard yourself against complacency. Always assume that competitors and competition is improving, because they are. Just because they don't show it, they're doing things behind the scenes as well. There's a classic meme that's out there, and it's a car that is going in this direction, but the tires are going in this direction. And I love it because it says, keep your competition guessing. You always want your competition guessing on you, and not disclosing everything you're doing, but at the same time, getting enough out of in the public eye that they're along for the ride. But also remember, your competition is probably doing the same to you. Is they're not going to disclose everything they're doing. So the key takeaway with this is this: operational excellence and innovation are both necessary. They have to have a balance, and it's not either or. You got to do both at the same time, and if you can prepare for it, it sets you up for a win in the future. So on the next segment that we're going to have here, what are the early signs of burnout and how do I avoid it? I'll see you there.